last thing I have to make, and this was actually kind of for Sean, who's not here now, is overlay techniques, because he asked that I talk about overlay techniques for a little bit. Overlay techniques that I specifically use a lot, and you can save these out as actions or whatever as well. And mainly because I end up doing a lot of grungier stuff for my art. One thing that I noticed that I see a lot in people who don't use Photoshop as a lot is selection. Is when people do overlays for metal. I'm going to talk about metal paneling specifically because this is the last thing I really did. Is when people do overlays, they never they won't do variation in them. So what'll happen is you'll have somebody who wants to do metal scratches or whatever, and they'll never vary their scratch, and it'll just overlay the entire thing, and it just looks like one scratch went across the entire side of like a spaceship. And that's just, it's one thing. It bothers the hell out of, well, our art director hates it when people just overlay the entire thing. And I got yelled at before it. Josh has got yelled at for it. Justin got yelled at for it. We've all got yelled at for it. Just make sure that you're varying your overlays. So like, let's say you have a panel here, and this is super easy, and it takes like 2 seconds. Just make sure you have your selections. You can rotate it. Move things. Okay, you move things over just to vary your overlays, because I see it a lot with a lot of the student artwork, at least, is people like to take grunge brushes and just slap it on the side of something. Don't do that. Please, please vary up your overlays. Another thing with overlays is scratch brushes are awesome, but they also don't really look like scratches in a way. This is something Sean asked for too. That's not here, but I figure you guys can do it. Is when doing scratches, I usually have a whack-on tablet, but when doing scratches, don't always rely on someone else's brush. This actually tends to look more like a real scratch. All you do, make sure you have your white lines and your black lines. And all you're doing is you're setting up your own bevel and emboss. Just make a white and black line, shift it, and set it to soft white. Now you actually have scratches in your thing. Nothing at least bothers me more than just a slapped on brush on top of metal. But yeah, that's really, I mean, and all of this stuff can be saved off as an action, layer presets. I mean, this scratch thing I set up as an action where all I have to do is draw black lines, I press play, my scratches are gone. So with a lot of this stuff, you can take what would take you an hour to 2 hours to make a texture and bring it down to 30 minutes and have it look just as good just by saving yourself some time. So, any questions?
Can you do that one with me?
The scratch one?
This one more.
Okay.
Please.
All you do?
It was so quick. It's kind of zippy on that.
Sorry, I'm on a shortcut.
I know, it's alright. I just.
Another thing, learn shortcuts. They are your best friend.
Alright.
And if your inverse isn't working, it's because trillion.
Is that what it was?
No,
Are you
trillion.
joking?
No, trillion messes up your Control-Shift-I shortcut in Photoshop, which will drive you insane. All you do is take a black brush. I usually want to use 1 pixel brush for everything, but that's because I'm anal retentive and I like to get really small. Draw your scratches in. They're not really going to look like scratches because I'm using a mouse, but then all you do is you make a duplication of the layer. So now you've got your black lines, a second set of black lines. Depending on how you want to do, you take the lower upper layer, invert it, so now it's going to be white. Then you shift it down one, left one. Merge your layers. And this, I'm gonna invert this one. That didn't shift. There we go. And then set it to soft white or any other blending option. And that's actually one thing with the actions you can do. Actions will inherit any blending option changes as well. So really there's nothing amazing about making textures. It's just the process of doing it and saving yourself the time to focus on the better parts. Where like this stuff is, I like to call the grunt part of doing materials. Then laying them out. I don't like doing either of those. Anything else? Yeah, I'll post up where to get those actions and on the Doom Report forums if everyone's there. I've got some more that I made, like a grass one and whatnot, that I can put up. I've got some brushes I can throw up here too. Some real awesome grass and metal destruction brushes.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very nice of you.
You're welcome.